The royal villas of Sylvania Academy are located on the top of the cliff at the west of the island of Akan, closest to the coast. They are quite far from the southwestern residential area, bustling with convenient amenities and a modest commercial complex. Although everyone is treated equally in academic matters, the royal family cannot be treated like that in their daily lives and their living space. Therefore, the royal mansion was built exclusively for Princess Phinia. The large villa stretches on a large area. Ordinary students are not even allowed to enter its garden, making the explanation of the special treatment that it receives is not necessary. The life here is really different from the life of the professor's building. When the sun sets, you can see the immense ocean seen through the window. The sound of the murmuring waves softly into the window frame, filled with the modest room of the princess before disappearing. With the crimson horizon outside the window, Princess Phinia sat at her desk. Personal study desks, gorgeous decorated with good wood and lavish pattern, even bigger than the office desk in the office of the Department of Obel. Regardless of the situation, the royal family always wants to have a lavish life. Life here is completely different from the life of a normal student. Princess Phinia gently threw her platinum blonde hair through the left shoulder. Trying to open a book about magic history and elemental research, she put the pen down again. Princess Phinia fell into thought. The golden globe that Lucy Peril created while the classroom announcement was really the same as the ball that Princess Phinia found in Merylda's protective tree. At that time, Princess Phinia realized something. Although it looks strange, this golden sphere is not noticeable, the amount of mana contained in it is not significant to the point of almost impossible. Finally, Princess Phinia was right to evaluate. This sphere looks strange but actually contains only a small amount of mana. However, the key lies in the detail that the sphere contains a weak amount of mana. Doing well, Lucy. The three essential qualities defined by the glassed master glassed for a magician to pursue the truth are: mana sensitivity, fast and accurate judgment, a will to explore. Students hastily think that the test that comes first will be served in advance will lose points because quick and accurate judgment, and students who do not try to understand the purpose of the test when returning the lesson will lose points because of the will to explore. The criteria for decision for superiority, mana sensitivity, are assessed based on the amount of mana inherent in the ball. The less mana the sphere is, the harder it is to detect. Looking back, every mana sphere scattered on the ground has a difference in the amount of mana, so small that it is almost impossible to recognize without high concentration. The determination of sphere with a minimum mana will enjoy the reward points for mana sensitivity. And the golden globe that Lucy Peril was fast as if it was easy to find. Merylda's protective tree is the oldest tree in the northern forest. Surrounded by abundant mana thanks to the blessing of high-level wind spirit, Merylda. Professor Glass said and pushed his skeleton forward. Between the presence of mana, the inherently dense, the balls are transmitted a small amount of mana placed. Their location, the center of Ho's rocky island, made them almost unless they adjust mana. The subtlety of mana sensitivity is endless. Similar to the separate scent mixed into the crowd, the typical scent will become indistinguishable when mixed and obscured. Lucy Peril was born with special ability to feel the delicate shades of mana. Moreover, although it seems accidentally and sleepy, but actually, she realized even the intention of Professor Glass. Returning to the professor's room without nothing but the only golden sphere is the evidence of this. Lucy Peril was always happy at the top of this test. That's right, that's the reason. Princess Phinia has never heard of the name Lucy Peril before. However, among the people of the same level, Lucy has a little reputation. Lucy lazy. Walking around the schoolyard, you can see that she is napping on many benches, stumps or lawns. Her background is not clear, but rumors that she is a genius of the geniuses, was born with extraordinary strength. It is a jealous talent, but the ability of people is uneven, what one can understand. But there is a detail that still makes the Phinia princess not trust. there is another person who knows the position of that ball. That tree is the protective tree of Meril. A promising thing is waiting if you check the empty side. Who is Ed Roth-Taylor? Princess Phineas sank into a deep reflection. First of all, this means Ed Roth-Taylor knows the location of the Golden Globe. It cannot be just a coincidence. The powerful energy flow emitted from Merilda's protective tree, hidden a sphere, contains an insignificant mana. Its position is located in the center of Ho's rocky island, certainly not a place where happened to find. The only conclusion was clear: a person with sensitivity is similar to Lucy Merrill. Let go. You don't know who I am. I am the Roth-Taylor's Ed Roth-Taylor. Stay away from me, pigs. You dare to touch me. Why do I have to lower myself to deceive, to humiliate a useless student like Taylor or something? Let go. The filthy and stupid farmers, why do you dare to talk about things that you don't know anything? Huh? Your Highness Princess? Princess Phineas, how? Oh, I'm sorry for not recognizing you. Sorry, Your Highness. I bow my head in front of you. Please mercy once. Your Majesty. This despicable Taylor name is not worthy of Your Majesty. That only tarnish the noble reputation of His Majesty. Please let him face justice. It is impossible. Princess Phineas shook her head. From an early age, she had the ability to see through the heart of everyone. The convenient behavior that Ed Roth-Taylor shows in the entrance exam are the desperate writhing of a person who is cornered, something that any witness can recognize. It is rumored that Ed Roth-Taylor does not really grasp the magic and have poor points. It is still a mystery about why such a person can be so arrogant, possibly due to the cramming of the nobility of the Roth-Taylor family. More importantly, Professor Glast will not ignore such a talent. Even the most hidden talent is what he feels and helps to develop. The obsession of talent is his identity. It is impossible to imagine that he ignored such a potential person. However, persistent discomfort is still in Princess Phineas. Is he really the same person? There is no relief or satisfaction with this thought. Above all, the difference between Ed Roth-Taylor was seen in the forest, and previous encounters captivated the mind. The weak attitude of power, the extreme fear before the authority, or any expression of the honor does not appear. Initially, this attitude was said to be arrogant, but it was easy to lose its reputation by his actions. Ed Roth-Taylor seemed to be afraid of the campfire that was carefully cultivated rather than being criticized by Princess Phineas. He never looked towards the princess while sitting in front of the campfire, using a stick to move the logs, immersed in the dialogue. Friction. It feels like this may not be the same person. But the appearance and demeanor are definitely from the same arrogant aristocratic, Ed Roth-Taylor, from the entrance exam. Is that an event to change life? The biggest incident was probably his deportation. However, considering the usual theory, this is extremely strange. Princess Phineas plays the main role in deporting Ed Roth-Taylor. He should nurture resentment, begging for forgiveness, showing any such reaction. If so, Princess Phineas will not feel any strange discord. However, Ed Roth-Taylor's eyes face the new reality without such depraved emotions. His gaze when he saw Princess Phineas: indifference, separation, heartlessness. His expression even showed a certain comfort. When looking back, the eyes of a nobility being expelled reflected such feelings, it was ridiculous. Perhaps. What was the case of being expelled from school, as he thought? Speaking of this thought, Princess Phineas immediately shook again. This man from birth has been nurtured in the Roth-Taylor family. Even the most calm people will is shocked by being kicked out of the cradle of his whole life. Turning the cover of the research book, Princess Phineas pondered deeper. What kind of house is Roth-Taylor family? She recalled the meeting with the head of the Roth-Taylor, Creben Roth-Taylor, at a royal party. A aristocracy has a calm and polite manner, along with a kind smile. But the eyes of the young Fenia princess saw more than that. Her unique vision, an intuitive intuition, is almost given by God to evaluate a person's personality, screaming. Behind the most prominent aristocratic house, inside the human being of Creban, hidden a cruel, scary snake. His appearance showed the image of a merciful king, but there was something invisible and dark hidden behind the Creban Rothtailor. She saw his gloomy face when leaving the royal council's room. This man pretended to be a fair rule while he had a cruel mind. For a long time, she was sure about this feeling. The guard soldiers were secretly reported to something dark and not paying attention inside the Rothtailor's house. Report on the items missed in the royal annual meetings, which were added late. Rumors about the servants entered the page and disappeared mysteriously. Rumor has it that Creban Rothtailor is passionate about reading ancient demon texts. There is always a sense of doubt about a strange presence. However, the problem lies in no concrete evidence. The fingers stroking the back of Princess Fenia's book stopped. She always believes in her judgment when judging others throughout her life. No matter how surprisingly existent, her hunch is often accurate if they follow. Therefore, this is a if story. The unprocessed darkness of the Rothtailor family, although her intuition was alarmed, has not been fully revealed. What if Ed Rothtailor wants to escape from his family's darkness? That can explain the attitude of not flinching, despite the consequences of deportation. Perhaps he wanted to naturally escape from the darkness of the Rothtailor family. However, one cannot arbitrarily throw away the lineage and blood relationship. To seem to be naturally chaste, one has to leave a stain. Princess Fenia's expression became more serious. Most importantly, this is true. Let go. You don't know who I am. I am the Rothtailor's Ed Rothtailor. Stay away from me, pigs. You dare to touch people. You really believe that I will deceive just to show off my strength with a useless student like Taily or anyone? Let me release me. Floods of civilians are dirty, stupid, saying meaningless things. The expression of this man's ugly, in order to expose his most convenient nature, implies that it all is just an act of acting. That may imply that he is cherishing a hidden purpose. Even the profound understanding of the divine cannot be seen. This shows that he is a strategist, even using the princess of a country as a variable for his own calculations. This is a drama. The princess shook again. That could not happen. But the disagreement of awareness between Ed Rothtailor that she met in the forest and what she knew had tortured Princess Fenia. If everything is an action, if there is an understanding of the darkness of the Rothtailor, if her use is a trick to wash the darkness from his hand ahead of time, if all of this is in his calculated plan. Afterward, the lightweight. Actually, maybe I'm just tired. Me too. Along with that noise, the princess stood up from the chair. She approached the window, welcoming the cool sea breeze. Her platinum hair fluttered in the wind. It was a refreshing feeling. Busy with the enrollment schedule and study, I will almost have no time to care about the state issues. Enjoy your interest in your liking. The king's encouragement for Princess Fenia when she started the journey. Get away from the royal rituals and regulations to go to the academic land. Perhaps it was time to dismiss those burdens. In the end, she lived a life full of political discussions, the struggle for the power of the aristocracy, the welfare of ordinary people, and international motivation. Perhaps it's time to get bored. Perhaps she was exhausted. Perhaps the appreciation of Ed Rothtailor. Not everyone lives behind many layers of masks, hiding their true intentions. Will life walking on the rope between the nobility and the minister can form the habit of considering the deepest thoughts? Physically, she was still an innocent girl, not yet her age, but her heart seemed to be old before her age. She is no longer at the age to make herself so heavy. A softer, more free chapter, where the focus moves from evaluating others to cultivating themselves, should be accepted. The princess sighed when she received the wind. Will I become an adult before age? After that, she glanced into the mirror next to the window. Princess Phenia, possessing platinum hair carefully cared for by a royal caring well. The sound of insects sounds quite pleasant. The stream is illuminated by the moonlight in the northern forest at night with a unique atmosphere that can stabilize the spirit of people. I sat in front of a bonfire exploding, preparing fish. In the past 3 days, I have done a lot of work just to survive. The temporary shelter has become quite good. Initially made of wood, cloth, and leaves, it was reinforced with clay from the river bank, making it look much more convincing. The connection between the brackets is more sure and the roof does not have any gaps that can be leaked, even when it rains. However, I need to reinforce the structure, because it may not stand the weight of clay. In this process, its size also increased significantly. What about food? I found rock salt in the downstream of the river leading to the coast. I crushed pieces of rock salt to use as a spice. In addition, I can try to cook on the wide flat rocks that I found by the river instead of on the grill. I'm getting used to this. The temporary fishing rod that I created could not catch large fish, but sometimes I also caught some types of fish that were eaten like green perch, although mostly small bait fish. I became quite proficient in processing fish. Using a ritual knife has become a survival tool. I have a fish and remove it all. After that, I used a large razor blade to cut the large scales and cut into the fish to soak in the fish before grilling them on a flat stone. You have completed a new dish. Grilled green perch catches from the river bank, marinated with salt. Simple, but the taste of raw materials is presented thoughtfully. Cooking level, your cooking level has increased. And this is a new development. When I randomly cooked the fish, I didn't receive any notifications, but when I started to prepare and taste the ingredients properly, my cooking level started to increase. The proficiency of life skills is reflected in the process of leveling up. Therefore, I took the ceremony to look at my face and checked the information. Name, Ed Roth Taylor. Gender, male. Age, 17. Level, 2. Race, people. Achievement, no. Power 3. Intelligence 4. Skillful 8. Will 7. Luck 6. Detailed fighting ability. Detailed magic ability. The ability to live in detail. The ability to fake metallic details. My skillful index has increased from 7 to 8. In Sylvania's failure swordsman, the proficiency of different life skills is extremely important. Skills such as cooking, building, making wooden furniture and fake arts not only create many useful objects but also have practical significance to the ability to fight. In particular, the skillful index is closely related to the sophisticated awareness, capturing the stream of strength and small motion. Although it is less related to magic, it can make a significant difference in swordsmanship, archery, or even metallic art. I am not sure when this attribute increases, but the advantage of only one skillful point is really significant. In the end, the higher the attribute, the harder it is. It may not take much time to raise a level 3 to 4 attribute to level 7 to 8, but when you reach the maximum parameters of 20 or more, you may have to complete a legendary task just to earn an attribute point. Most life skills are closely related to ingenuity. Fighting ability, strength, ingenuity, will. Magic ability, intelligence, will, luck. Ability to live, ingenuity, will. Metal ability, intelligence, luck. It seems complicated, but each the possibility is affected by different indicators. I picked up a piece of fish meat and put it in my mouth. It is quite delicious with the salt flavor absorbed in. I took a sip of water from the stream and sat down on a large rock that I brought to make a chair. There are still many things to do. At first, the wooden shelter was quite inconvenient, but then became quite cozy. I have a lot of backup clothes. Currently, food can still be controlled, just catch fish and pick berries in the forest. I couldn't say that I was living in velvet, but that was what I could improve. I need to make a clothesline for laundry, and I can do something temporary for it. I need to learn some types of trees if I want to diversify food. Perhaps there are some relevant books in Professor's library? I want to rely on not only fishing and earning but also trying to hunt. Yesterday, when walking in the forest, I discovered that the wild boar was wandering around. It seems that there are other creatures like rabbits and squirrels. Akan Island is where Sylvania Academy is located, and it is in the process of suppressing large-scale monsters. Monsters threaten human life rarely see, but there are many wildlife species are part of nature. Hunting is not an option, it is an essential need. Not only to provide meat but also because if I can collect fat from animals, my cooking quality can be improved. Now that I think about it, I also need some cooking tools. The ritual items used in the Academy's events are the household tools I have. The ritual dagger, metal bowl, and mirror. All must be kept neat, but there is no time to worry about such procedures at this time. The ritual dagger has gone through many thick layers, and there is no way to clean the bowl or mirror. Can't do anything else. If I have a pot, a kitchen knife, a spoon, and a few bowls to hold food, it will be very convenient. I began to record the different things I needed on the ground with a tree branch. I can't leave Akan Island right now and have no money, but if I manage to earn some, these are things I really want to buy. There are still many things to do. Only 3 days left until the first day, sigh. I sighed and stretched my shoulders. However, my life situation has become a somewhat more comfortable. The house that I have worked hard for the past week, finally looks like a place where you can call it summer camp. The wooden tent is the place where I put the most effort. A pile of campfire is surrounded by stones for effective management. Above is a wide flat rock instead of the grill. Besides, my personal belongings from off Elias Hall, neatly arranged, along with many other homemade household tools that I also arranged neatly. Today, maybe, I will try to make a silk bow. What a great help when among these items I bring with a little silk mixed with fabric. I had to spend a lot of tears to remove the thin fabric, but after all, the fishing line was also from the silk thread, and it helps to tie the roof to hide. Because it is quite high quality and firm, it can be twisted and used as a bow without any problem. I have noticed a suitable tree as a supply frame in the forest. If I can make a bow and master how to use it, it will be very helpful. Above all, archery skills are very suitable for the skills of creating life and magic. If I can modify the arrow or enchant them, their effectiveness will skyrocket. If I can complete those auxiliary weapons first, it will directly affect my future skills development. Experience shows that if you try to study in a hurry, the level of archery will fall behind compared to other professional skills, causing imbalance. Please expect the surprise. No matter how busy, continue to move forward and solve what you need to do. It seems that tonight is a long night. I turned my shoulder to relax, ready to work as a craft. It seems that I have to sleep late tonight. Asterisk. Dean McDowell stroked his mustache with a satisfied smile on his face. It's been a long time since he laughed like this. For a person with a gentle nature like him, the role of the magician of Sylvania School is really too much to endure. Not only the eccentric students of the Faculty of Magic, but even the professors are extremely selfish. Being pushed to try to reconcile between them, McDowell's glossy black hair gradually turned white. When looking at the chiefs of combat and fake Kimthuate, they did not seem to struggle as much as him, making him sometimes think that his position was particularly heavier. However, there are times when he feels his efforts paid off. When reviewing the report of the class for the first-year students of Sylvania, he smiled. This year's first-year student squad of Sylvania faculty is like a gold mine. The bright talent of many rudimentary jewelry has made even the old McDowell's heart shake. The first is a sign that Professor Glast personally assigned 3 students to Class A. Not only the students but even the senior professors shook their heads before the toughness of Professor Glast. They have approved 3 students. Zix's natural Spears, who revealed his talent even in the harsh environment of the Northern Delta. The only daughter of Kim Vuong, Elt Caheln, head of Elt Trading Company, Kim Lord L. And a girl, without a family or a clear past, but only the superior talent made Professor Glast clapped, Lucy Lazy. Especially related to Lucy Peril, even McDowell could not hide his astonishment at the praise of Professor Glast. She was born with the qualities of a great magician capable of writing a new chapter in magic history. Really Honorable Kai became her mentor. Considering the previous comments of Professor Glast, it is difficult for people to judge her as a talented individual. Compared to last year, this year's first-year student class has a large number of enrollments. There are almost no students standing out from the first year last year. Only Yenica, who succeeded in signing a contract with a senior spirit, caught the eye of the dean. Instead, the average score decreased, even a student was kicked out of the family because of fraud in the entrance exam. It can be said that this is the worst generation of grade 1 ever. It seems that last year was quite gloomy for this year to shine again. In the hope that Sylvania's great name will be again improved, McDowell is about to sign in the report. Dean. Sorry, but there are visitors. His secretary knocked on the office door. He instructed not allowing guests to not have schedules during working hours, but it seems that it was forgotten. McDowell sighed uncomfortable and tried to remind the secretary when the door opened before he could allow. The opening was the captain of the Royal Guard team, the Clare Knight, the direct subordinate of the Princess Fenia. Following him, Princess Fenia wore a light blue skirt. Dean McDowell was startled and bowed in a hurry to the presence of the royal family, then suddenly stopped. This is the Hall of Sylvania. The place where education is at the forefront compared to the discrimination of rankings. Outside this hall, he may be just a normal citizen to follow the royal power, but here, Dean McDowell is the princess's teacher. Although he could not despise the princess, he faced her as an educator of her. It was the decree of the emperor to form Sylvania. Dean McDowell ends the respect for respect by bowing. What's the matter that your highness will come to the hall at this hour? I'm sorry for not informing the teacher, the head of the McDowell department. Despite the small physique, Princess Fenia still stood solemnly and sitting solemnly on the sofa for guests in the office. Behind her is the Royal Knight Clare and 2 other security knights. I want your advice. Can you? Princess Fenia, the embodiment of mercy, is not a man who oppresses others with power. McDowell understands this very much. However, there was an important reason why she suddenly stormed into the office of the dean to talk without notice. Despite that, Dean McDowell has no choice but to listen to what she said. All right, what to do with this? In the southeast of the northern forest, there is a small lake, and in its center, on a small island, there is a protective tree of Meril. The person who is leaning on the tree and focusing on the summoning Yenica spirit. I was immersed in thinking when I saw her. Asterisk. The new semester is approaching, only 1 day left. There is many pi prepared before returning to school. First of all, I need to solve my sloppy appearance. After 10 days of living in the wild, I look like a hermit. Despite washing his face daily in the stream, the hairs growing in patches on my face require shaving. I used the hinge tongue to tear from a wooden bag, smooth to groom, although it was quite alarming. The risk of rust hinge tongue cutting can lead to infections such as tetanus. However, keeping a solemn appearance is essential if I want not to be noticed and continue to study at Sylvania. Being caught by the school officials in my ragged state will lead to unwanted disasters. I have to think of a way to find a clean razor. After cleaning and completing a number of other preparations to return to the school, I finally picked up the bow. Details of combat ability. Grade, New Warrior in Professional Profession, Supply Proficiency Level 1. I did not hesitate to choose my field in the combat ability, Kung. Sylvania Failures Swordsman provides 4 possibilities: fighting, magic, life and fake art. People will combine these 2 elements to determine their professional career. The combination of combat and magic will create a magic swordsman or a magic warrior. Specialized in magic and fake art can help you become a fake Kim or a spiritualist, etc. If I am a player who is free to choose my professional career, there may be room to ponder, but in my case, the 2 possibilities I need to combine have been determined. Skills in the category of life are essential for survival, and because of owning a student from the Faculty of Magic, I cannot avoid practicing magic. Therefore, specializing in magic and life skills is not the choice, it is needed. Although the combination of these 2 areas is not really strong, the door led to fields such as magic techniques and charms open to me. As mentioned earlier, no weapons can add these skills better than supply. My physical attributes such as endurance, strength, and reflexes are not impressive, making melee become a challenge. Attacking enemies from afar will be the most ideal form of fighting. If I can improve my life skills to create high-quality arrows, I can use my soul or magic to enable them. Therefore, the most ideal is specialized in supply to increase combat ability and mental recovery to increase the ability to fake Kim. Summon the soul, However, the summoning spirit requires a congenital talent, which is the ability to react spirit. The connection and communication with souls is a limited skill when it comes to training. This is why in history, great spiritualists are born with innate ability to resonate with the souls. If I can't do it, I have no other way. But unfortunately, there are not many easy to active fake techniques for intensive, perhaps the best herbal skills. However, because I could not force the reaction of the mental appearance, so unfortunately, I would have to find an alternative. Anyway, I have to try my bow to do it all night. I was very happy to make a difficult to make bow tree that was 2 levels, but whether it was really practical or not is another question. My arrow is just branches with sharp hinges. I used all my tongue to make 4, not sure about the effectiveness of their damage. For large animals like wild boars, they will work, but may be effective for smaller animals like squirrels and rabbits. Wearing the bow on my back, I hunted. 2 hours later, after collecting the body of the 2 squirrels, I happened to meet Yenica at Merilda's protective tree. As a talented spiritualist who is currently the 2nd-year student of Sylvania Academy, she is the youngest person who has ever signed a contract with the high-class Fire Soul Tarkin, and then, she is under the control of the high-end Velusfer Soul, capturing the Student Council building and summoning the right arm of Glaskin, becoming the last boss of Sylvania's failure. Asterisk. I don't have any ambition, I just want to graduate. That is my policy. Not that I don't have romance. Sometimes I want to become the main character of this world, walking on the path of a glorious hero, enjoying the praise of everyone. But the path of the hero is often full of thorns. There is a reason for them to be praised. They moved through the thorny roads as if they were flower beds, bleeding throughout the journey. The main character of this world, Taili, I still don't know who they are or where, but I have played them countless times. A great epic lasted for 45-3 chapters. The challenges that the main character Taili faced exceeded the ability of a mortal. The life at the academy seemed to be vibrant and romantic, ending with endless death and pain, when faced with formidable and overwhelming enemies. Especially from the last semester, the scale of the trials increasingly escalated, constantly threatening and putting pressure on Taili. The excitement and victory over them are definitely sweet, but I don't want to face all those challenges. And even if a person suffers from those hardships, the reward is waiting is not necessarily great. Honor and glory are very valuable, but they do not come for free. In contrast, the necessary sacrifices in this process are extremely large. Knowing what will happen, only the fool will be ready to enter such a path. So that's my conclusion. No matter what happens, stick to the official story. I know that according to the scenario of Sword S I failed C Sylvania. Taily will then solve all crises after experiencing many challenges and tests. I just stood there, clapped my hands and tried to ensure my rights while looking at the diploma. Anyway, I am 1 year older than Taily. The scenario of Sylvania's failure swordsman became more intense at the time Taily was about to graduate, also the climax of the story. It was when different forces appeared outside the school, threatened students, created a deserted atmosphere and opened countless challenges for them. I just need to get a diploma and leave right before that season starts. It is my strategy, enjoying the sweetness without suffering hardships, so that the protagonist can solve the challenges while I go to find my own life. Isn't that a great plan? This is the current situation. One of the important figures in the script and also the first challenge to Taily, Yenikafa a lover. It is best to stay away from her and follow her own path. It is a reasonable action. When I was about to leave with that thought, oh my god, you must be the interesting friend that Merilda mentioned, right? Yenika opened her eyes and talked to me. In life, things rarely happen exactly as planned. Asterisk. This forest is completely within the powers of Merilda. That noble soul often gossiped more than her status. The ancient spiritual spirit has protected this forest even before the established Sylvania Academy was comfortable by the girl as if they were friends. Her hair is thick, light pink, and neatly brushed, while the braids on each side create a warm feeling. She seems a bit cold when wearing a shawl. She wore a standard uniform of Sylvania Academy, a red jacket outside the blue skirt and surrounded by trees. There were a few unspeakable magic books that were spread out, showing that she had read a book alone. The holiday has ended and you have just returned to the dorm, but it seems that you have a lot of things to think. The spirit of excitement is worshipped, but it seems lonely when no one to talk. It is impossible to imagine how you have managed with the boredom during the holiday. I giggled and chatted, but I felt confused inside. My intention is to intervene as little as possible. While the problem with Princess Fenia is directly related to my situation and needs intervention, this is a completely different story. Anyone feels lonely when no one has to talk, right? Her innocent smile seems warm and kind. The player was originally shocked to witness this. She, a reliable and kind second-year student, will soon seal the student council building and occupy it, marking everywhere with Glaskin's curse seal. She is a shock for new players who begin to adapt to the laws of this world. This episode law the real starting point for deep immersion in the story. Even I uttered an swearing sentence when I first saw it. So why did she talk to me? It was she gave the reason. Did you live in this forest? Since being chased. The owner of the forest told you. Merilda is a bit curious. She likes this forest. Her smile seemed to shine with the brilliance of the flowers fluttering around her. She looks like a person whose worries of the world are mediocre. In my opinion, the discord with the image of her occupying a student's building is quite uncomfortable. With such affection for the forest, don't you notice that there is an invited guest to come? I felt that it was not necessary to pay attention to the squirrel dangling on my back. I also cut quite a lot of trees. Don't worry about that. It is natural for organisms in forests to hunt each other. Merilda will not worry about such a trivial thing. The muscular giant wolf seems to have a gentle heart. Surprise, right? Ahahaha. Merilda, a guardian of this forest, has a shape of a wolf-shaped spirit. Although rarely appearing before people, she is known as a surprising tolerance. It is not uncommon for her to let my camping, hunting, and gathering activities have passed without any incidents. Your appearance changes quite a lot. In the last semester, Ed, although we didn't talk much, but your voice had a stronger tone. But now it seems more serene. Image changes. Such a kind. Haha, So do I. The servant at Ophelius Hall braided me. What do you think? Do I look more active? No matter how she asked, I could not make an assessment. Continuing to chat happily with this girl, who later became one of the most obnoxious figures Ed Rothtaylor ever known, is what is beyond my ability, because I know her future. But if I want to keep the distance, this method is very simple. Even if she has a great personality of a great person, I know a type of magic that can make her swallow greeting and look at me with suspicious eyes. Yenica. Probably fate when we meet the day before the school starts. Can I ask you something? A gift. I am in urgent money and are looking for some money to borrow some money. I accidentally uttered that mantra. Can you stand as a guarantor for me? Cut. Thanks to the thoughtful early education of parents with love from an early age, the word guarantee made my back tingling and blood circulation faster, because I was accustomed to this physiological reaction. But anyway, it's just my story. Regardless of whatever, the despair of a person being put into the foot of the wall can be extremely heavy, beyond imagination. Being kicked out by my family, I was completely empty-handed. That is why I chewed up a large amount of money. Listening to such words from a classmate that I was almost not intimate only increased the burden. And it's not that I don't understand that. Actually, it was because I understood that I acted. Or maybe you can lend me some money. The summoned girl boldly demanded money from the spirit magician. Is that so? However, Yenica's friendliness is even greater than I imagined. It must be very difficult. Events lead to her empathy that made me not speechless. There must be many difficult times that I don't know. I don't know which words to encourage. But I hope you are always strong. With her happy and innocent attitude, one may even doubt. Does she really know who Ed Rothtaylor is? It is thought that it is impossible to show affection for such a person, but Yenica's charm is at another level. But I myself are not in the best situation. I really want to help if I can, but my family is not well off. Yenica is the daughter of a small farm in the Sparta region in the Eastern Kingdom. Not from the rich family, she grew up in a modest condition in the plains. Therefore, the fact that she studied in this aristocratic academy could be thanks to her superior mental sensitivity, helping her achieve high scores and scholarships. Anyway, be happy. I support you. Her radiant smile was her identity, seemingly capable of warming her heart. However, in the opinion of those who know her intentions, things are not completely comfortable. Asterisk. After Ed Rothtaylor left, a girl sat silently, reaching out to the space. As you said, Merrill. He is really a strange person. In Sylvania Academy, only 3 people possess an extraordinary mental sensitivity to glimpse Merrill. The best second-year student, Yenica Fellover. Lucy is lazy, a talent breaks standards in all fields of magic. And senior professor on spiritual research, Melina. Last year did not feel like this. A tornado emerged from the girl's hand, and suddenly, a giant wolf was surrounded by the wind in front of her. The scary jaw of the wolf opened with a light roar, he rubbed his head into the girl's hand. Yenica smiled brightly as her finger gently stroked the lower jaw of the giant wolf. Someday, I hope to be able to make a covenant with you, Merrill. Although they are close as family, Yenica's magic power is still too weak to make a mental covenant with Merrill. Although she was successful in the covenant with Tarkin Fire, it made her bedridden because of a high fever for 10 days and 10 nights. But a wolf. Now you look like a forest ruler. Every time we meet, Merrill's appearance is different, sometimes an eagle he is, sometimes a cold crocodile, and sometimes a ferocious wild boar. Merrill has appeared in many different animal shapes, but this is the first time she has appeared in the form of a wolf. Yenica buried her face in Merrill's soft fur for a while, giggling laughter with gentle caresses. No matter what I think, I can't understand you. Applying his face against Merrill. Yenica pondered. She thought of an embarrassing classmate who was expelled from school. He is not a person with notable ability or magic power. But sometimes, his words were still around her mind. Even such a muscular giant wolf seems gentle in his heart. Indeed, those words were said. Yenica also paid attention to Merilda's shape for the first time when she returned after the break. She mentioned it as if it was natural. What is his true nature? The intention behind the next words is very clear. Asking to borrow money, saying that he was in misery, but his tone and attitude remained calm. There is no sign that the desperation is often seen in people who are cornered. Yenica seemed carefree and smiling, but she was also aware of the hidden things in it like everyone else. Refusing to approach, indirectly told Yenica to stay away. Well, such people still exist, but I'm also human. With harmless kicks on Merilda's fur, Yenica poured her anger into the skin that could not penetrate. It was painful when he coldly rejected me, even when I welcomed him like that. Sigh. It is not a deep affection, nor has any confession, but she feels unjustly despised, which makes her uncomfortable. All right, we will continue to meet each other, everything will be better. Hugging Merilda tightly, Yenica showed a bright smile. The relationship between people is really mysterious. Last year, after getting used to and friendly with her classmates, this year when she returned, she found a new and attractive group of friends. Among them, Ed Roth Taylor stands out as a stranger. Even Merilda described him as an interesting person. Ed Roth Taylor was informed of Merilda's wolf shape, and although Yenica smiled brightly, he still pushed her away. With Yenica, the world is always good, like a fragrant flower garden to welcome people with warmth. Anyone who welcomes her smile and softens and smiled back. Even the most kind heart can hide a bit of darkness, this is not new to Merilda. However, with the belief that is not moving, a sincere smile can definitely unlock the warmth in the hearts of others. Tomorrow is the starting day. It's time to go back to school. The new interest found in a classmate aroused the joy in Yenica. Asterisk. This will make her no longer interested, right? I sit tea procession of campfire, embellishing the last appearance. Try to look neat but not too ostentatious. My blonde hair is brushed neatly back, all unnecessary decoration details on clothes are removed and the beard is shaped to significantly change the lines on the face. At the end of the semester, the tuition became an urgent reality. Without scholarships, I would have to leave the school. The postponement of this semester signals the need for urging to improve itself. The curriculum of the Faculty of Magic seems quite comfortable, but it will definitely take a lot of time. The significant progress in mana sensitivity and the ability to use elemental magic is the result of the continuous training process to survive, such as cutting trees or burning fire. Details of the ability to use magic. Level, Practice Magic Expert. Field, Elemental Magic. Common Magic, Promote LV2, Feel Mana LV5, Fire Elemental Magic, Ignition LV5, Magic Elemental Wind, Wind Blade LV4. The proficiency of my main magic has improved significantly. Although often expected to reach the level of proficiency 10, my process still happened quickly. However, self-study has the limit of magic as a subject. When the curriculum starts, the diversity of practical spells will expand. Life skills will naturally improve through this participation, positively impacting my qualities. However, the worry is my fighting ability. Both endurance and strength are extremely low. Although there is a manual labor recently, my index has not changed. It seems that this cursed body is not for physical feats. But that is not the reason for you to lie down and give up. Aerobic exercise cannot be compared to physical training. In my present life in the northern forest, away from the dormitory on the Iskan Island, spending time for exercise seems meaningless. However, my new environment requires that. When I came here indefinitely after being expelled, It was a half-day trip to the forest. Although I wandered uncertainty and sometimes resting, the distance to the dorm is still significant, especially when I have to participate in daily classes. Jogging at dawn is the only option. I have to consider it a durable training regime. Fluence is the foundation of all activities. No matter how skillful or magical power, without the support of physical strength, one cannot succeed. Students who fight often do such exercises. There is no reason I can't. Although I am a magic faculty, there is no time to defend. My daily morning, jogging to school, practicing fighting skills through hunting and carpentry, and practicing elemental magic and non-stop mana sensitivity. During this time, should not ignore the training of different survival skills. Investment and skillful index and manufacturing skills will bring great benefits later. As for the skill of fake Kim, I'm not sure. There are not many immediately applications for magic instruments and fake tools. However, this semester requires me to focus completely on my development. It is best not to attract unnecessary attention or cause anger. It was more than enough to make me busy. Please. Up to this point, it is understandable that a question is understandable. It was a concern that I could not focus on when trying to support myself, but now when the semester has begun, that question appears again. So, exactly, where is our main character Taylor currently? What is he doing? Asterisk. When starting a new semester, the atmosphere often becomes exciting and excited. Most students returned to the dormitory when the holiday was nearly over. They must have met the friends they have not seen for a long time. However, attending the opening ceremony aroused a new feeling. It was human psychology. The student center is located in the center of the professor's building. Although often called a student center simply, it actually consists of 3 separate buildings. Among them, Cade Hall, located in the west, is often used for major school events. There are dozens of large tables spread out in a large auditorium, each can comfortably sit about a dozen people. They are full of parties, and to me, who survived with fish and seaweed for days, this place is like heaven. Even more, I woke up at 6 in the morning and jogged from the northern forest of Akan Island to the professor's building. With such a hearty party in the immediate future, the resistance is a challenge of endurance beyond human ability. I can live without having to worry for a while if I can pack the leftovers. Do I have no bag or container to hold some? I wondered, but then ignored it. What about the noble school culture? This damn Sylvania Academy emphasizes too much on maintaining dignity. If I was seen being shaved from leftovers to the plate to carry, then the disregard would be the least concern. That could directly lead to my conduct. We are happy to see students return to the new semester with more advanced forms, and related to recent activities in our Sylvania community. It seems that there is a general rule that the encouragement of the dean is always boring, regardless of time or the world. However, it is worth noting that all students sit upright and listen attentively to the lecture of the dean, thanks to the constant emphasis on politeness. The scene of thousands of students listened attentively in impressive silence. That was the moment I felt the reputation of Sylvania Academy. Look, the other person. Isn't Ed Roth Taylor? What? The second-year student did a clown in the entrance exam for Sin and Nu. Look carefully, he feels a bit different. But definitely him. What does he have the face that appears at the opening ceremony? Isn't it expelled? Of course, this does not completely prevent the murmur among students. Hiding among them, I heard the compliments for me. Look at him, after all of those arrogance, he has completely fallen. SHH, he can hear it? What's wrong? He is no longer a noble. What kind of talk? I ate as slowly and solemnly as possible, stuffed my mouth with grilled turkey and potato salad. I was completely exhausted after the morning jogging, but I could not miss this opportunity to recharge. Hello. When I was focusing on recharging, A happy greeting appeared in front of me. See you again. The possibility of someone enthusiastically welcoming Ed Roth Taylor, who has just been humiliated from the family, is very low. Looking up, as expected, it was Yenneker Feylover smiling and greeting. I greeted everyone at Ophelius Hall, but I couldn't greet you, Ed. You are not in the room. I tried to suppress my frown. However, the alarm still rang in my mind. Warning. Keep your distance. Talking to me is nothing good. Huh? Why? I said with his eyes instead of his mouth, urging people to look around. At this time, the whisper was around us. Yenneker Feylover is almost like a mascot among the second-year students. As the first year of the year and the person that everyone knows, her happy and cute personality makes her friends love her. In addition, if this is the time of the opening ceremony, she will achieve the covenant with the high-class fire spirit Tarkin, becoming the hope of the second year at the Faculty of Magic Sylvania. For such a good, innocent, and lovely student, rushing into the worst, worried gaze is inevitable. Finally, the rescue force appeared among those present. A short-haired girl with freckles and another red-haired girl appeared among the crowd. Oh! Yenneker! It's been a long time. Yenneker! How are you staying at home? They smiled the most embarrassing in the world when they took Yenneker's hand. Huh. Claire, Anis. That's great, but why do I greet me as if this was the first time we met? I am sure we were in Ophelius Hall yesterday. Did you hear? The desserts from Ophelius Hall's chefs are on the other table. Imagine how I crave his food during the break. That's right, let's go to drink a little. Yenneker. We can meet again. After saying that, the two girls pulled Yenneker out of the evil man, disappearing into the crowd. Yenneker looks confused when being pulled away. Pretty. Good job. My classmates that I don't know. Wait a moment. However, it was miraculous that Yenneker had escaped from the grip of the two people I was there. She rushed over the crowd and stood in front of me again. Even so, I still want to boast about this. What? When I was surprised, Yenneker reached out to me. So what? When I looked quietly, Yenneker twisted and turned around. She showed off her small, white hand in many different angles. I was only confused. As soon as you left yesterday, guess. I crawled up from the lake. Isn't it too cute and lovely? I signed a contract right there. Meet my new friend. Want to touch? I quickly grasped the main idea when she mentioned the contract. Basically, it is a soul. I can't know what it has brought to become so cute and worthy of showing off. The fact that she twisted her wrist showed it was wrapped around her arm, but I couldn't see it. Yes, even when I can't see it, I can guess. Considering all this noise, it must look cute. If I want to get along with Yenneker at that time, I will say things like, so cute. And it's lovely. You're lucky to have such a covenant. A little back and forth can be a right play. With social skills, it is probably the best in our class. Such people make life much easier. There is no need to fight to find common points or start the conversation forced. A person chatting comfortably. There is a reason that everyone in the year loves her. That's even a reason for me to be more careful if I want to keep the distance. Exactly because she is the person you can easily harmonize, so I have to be more careful not to do so. In fact, the solution is not difficult. I don't understand what you're saying. Just to cut off the conversation is enough. I can't see the soul. I am not sensitive to identify them, so I can't see them. By cutting her suddenly, eliminating the common concern, she would have no more words. It will become awkward when pursuing any other topic. Moreover, Yenneker is not stupid. She will vaguely understand that I am trying to create a distance. Surrounded by kind people, she probably could not avoid hostility. Actually, Yenneker responded slowly and leaned closer, tilting his head curious. Can't you see the soul? This is nothing unusual. Not all students in the faculty can see the soul. However, Yenneker still nodded strangely several times. Yenneker. Let's go. Dessert will know more. Finally, the cavalry is back. They hugged Yenneker tightly, trying to take her back to the crowd. Yes. See you next time. Even in that situation, she waved to me warmly when she was taken away. Yes, those rescuers will warn Yenneker while they eat desserts. They will advise her to be close to Ed Roth-Taylor. Then gradually she will lose interest in me. For me, something it is not bad at all. Finally, the heads of each class will give Sage Scroll to the representatives of new students. Can students call them, please go to the podium? The second-year student of Yenneker Fa'elover, a third-year student Tyke Elfelan Top, 4 fourth-year students Amy Innes, and a new student representative, Princess Phinia Elias Clarel. The royal family always receives special treatment. They always attach the word respected when introduced in public. It is no surprise that Princess Phinia is chosen to represent a new student. No one can match the score and talent like Lucy Lazy, who refused to show his face at such an event. And really no one can represent the class better than Princess Phinia. Sylvania's new annual student class is full of jewelry. The distance between them and my second-year student is indescribable. Can't do anything else. Anyway, the hero of this world is also a first-year student. When playing Sylvania's failure swordsman game, you can't help but think, but the school has no excellent students older than the first-year student. Phinia, the Princess of Compassion, who took the right to execute the Student Association in the second year and tried to eliminate corruption as the true president of the Student Association. In contrast, Lord L female Kim Lord L spreads darkness in Sylvania, controls cash flow and logistics, negotiating the benefits of students to make big profits. People with great talent, Lazy Lucy, a magician born under the lucky star Glucked. And there are many other people who cannot tell them all. These important characters are first-year students. The official lessons have not yet started, but thanks to this unprecedented first-year students, the lecturers were very excited. Sage's Scroll is the rest of the records by the great sage Sylvania Robespierre, founder of Sylvania Academy. To honor the emphasis of Sylvania on the learning virtue, the ritual of giving paper rolls to these new students continues. Although there are many different meanings, it is all ritual. While looking at the opening ceremony was gradually ending, I continued to sweep my eyes around. Students from every year, with different classes and specialties, rarely gather like this in Cate Hall. While the auditorium is full of first-year stars, all kinds of talents and backgrounds, I know the truth. All of those boys are just characters in this world. It is really important to find the main character of the world, Taylor. He will definitely solve many upcoming challenges at Sylvania Academy without me to move in. I am extremely grateful for having someone like him who walked with me on a difficult road. Perhaps it's time to walk around and see where Taylor is possible. In the end, Ed Roth-Taylor has completely lost its position and almost no longer reminded another. Whether I was at such a monumental opening ceremony or not, it was not important to anyone. In fact, my presence can make things more exciting. I ate quite full and was about to get up suddenly. Please pay attention. Ed Roth-Taylor was asked to visit Dean McDowell's office. Thank you. My name suddenly rang from the auditorium stage. McDowell, this name I know. The head of the senior department of the Department of Magic Sylvania, an important figure holding the right to appoint employees in the academy. Is he looking for me? Will. I was expelled from school. Is it time for the most powerful character in the academy to inform you about the expulsion? To say goodbye so politely? I have finished my life. I rubbed my face. Calm down, I told myself.